dialogue as a substitute to violence. As we always say that violence and war is everybody's nightmare, and as a result, peace is everybody's business. As this peace
Gambia, ndelebeda badi bunkali alo nyaming nyakili mo nyama dunumata la fulanda na kuka to makara la kasata ay wali mbemintole Gambian Talents TV mbo to wala kale Gambian Talent TV nyulle nata Gambian Talents TV wo nyulle nata kantole kidimandi nyulle nata kantole nganyandi nyulle nata kali se wondi nyulle nata kali kunindi nyulle nata kali londi oto wala tinna ngoebe Facebook le wala tinna ngoebe.
And you cannot have a democratic citizen when citizens do not know their civic rights and responsibilities. And debating is one of the tools, perhaps the main tool that you can have, to able to exert that influence in the country, and also play a role as a citizen effectively by participating in governance and also shadowing your opinion when it is highly needed. And you cannot do that better when you are not with the skills of public speaking, the skill of articulation, and submission. This is why the Banjul Open was established to make sure that, with the cooperation of other civil society organizations, with the political will or with our political will, we are going to build a democratic society by helping the young people to develop the skill of public speaking. This is why we came. We came at a very critical time. We came before the dawn of the new Gambia. And since we came before the dawn of the new Gambia, we also grow up also in the new Gambia, the so-called new Gambia, for instance. So we also believe that we have a role to play. Outstanding speakers who will give us what we need. But basically, the idea of Banjul Open debate came about when I was fortunate to be a president of the Social Sciences and Humanities during my undergraduate program. After having a marathon training with Mustafa Khan, who was the main resource person of that training, so we thought it is wise for us to develop this initiative to a national level. And when we are thinking about this, we thought what is more wise is that we establish an organization that will be able to prepare the young people across the board, whether in the university or outside the university, so that we can get these young people together, talented young people together, so that we can see how best we can strengthen our cooperation, strengthen the development agenda of this nation. So that's what brought us here in summary. So I believe that we have been into this tournament. This year is the 3rd edition. We have did this annually. We have this kind of event, and this year is the 3rd edition, as I said. And these are the outstanding debaters. Last year we have some different faces, and this year we also have other. Some of them have sacrificing their busy schedule and working extremely hard to see that this thing is offered here. So on that note, we really appreciate you for the outstanding service, and we pray that your effort shall not go in vain. So we thank you once again, particularly the executive member and everybody that have worked with the team to make sure that this program is a success. So quickly to the program itself. Now we are starting, as I said, we are going by surname. And if you are going by surname, of course, yes, if we don't have A, we will go with B. Huh? Now the first public speaker, we have Olifal Kirfatu, right? Yes, Olifal, you are highly welcome to this program. And we thank you for taking your precious time to grace this occasion. We are delighted having you here. And we have our Honorable Fal. I think Mr. Fal now, everybody knows who Fal is. He's the one doing the great job with the TRRC. So we are happy about what you're doing, and we also appreciate you for sacrificing your busy schedule just to attend this event. And it's a pleasure to have your council. So we appreciate you here, and we're delighted to have you here to grace the final of the Banjul Open debate. On that note, I want to, we will proceed from there, and we'll invite them according to their surname, as I said, alphabetically. So we will start from A. If there's no A, we go to B. So I think the first B I have here is Ba. Cherno Mbalo Ba. Yeah. Would you welcome him to the stage? Every speaker have 3 minutes to speak, to tell us their Gambian dream. In the last 1 minute, the timekeeper will clap. That suggests that the speaker have 1 minute to go. So that's the rule of the game. So there you go.
Okay, Mr. Chairperson of this great occasion, the chair and adjudicators, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, my co-contestants, good afternoon to you all. I start by introducing myself to you. I am Cherno Baidoba, and I have the honor to prophesy the state of our nation, maybe in 10 to 15 years. However, I am going to analyze the dream of Gambia into 4. That is, the titles of my presentation is to talk on the Gambian dream. The Gambian dream is to be orchestrated into 4 categories. One of it is that the Gambian dream is to ensure that citizens of these nations are politically aware, in which we will ensure that the most competent people are elected to man our affairs. And when that won't happen, we will have a state of stability where our leaders will demonstrate their aptitude that will serve our interests. The Gambian dream, we will focus on political, that is to say, to ensure that our political leaders are freed from the infections of corruption and that of nepotism. That is the dream of the Gambian. The second dream of the Gambian is that of the dream of social cohesion. The dream of social cohesion is also the dream of the Gambian. How does it happen? I prophesize the state of our nations to be whereby the citizens are united. And when they are united, you will find out that we will be able to put our ideas together to serve the interests of our beloved nations. When we are socially united, there will be nothing like I am a Madinka, neither I am a Jola or a Fula, but we are going to be Gambian. The Gambian dream. The Gambian dream is to ensure that the nation is economically strong, whereby funds should be used to serve the interests of the people, whereby health, educational sectors are prioritized based on the strength of the economy, whereby the youth that are marginalized, their interests are provided. The Gambian dream. The Gambian dream is to ensure that culture incorporates, whereby when it is time for the demonstrations or for the manifestations of a culture, we appreciate the culture of others instead of saying negatives about other people's culture. The Gambian dream. The Gambian dream is to ensure that we live as the citizens of these nations, prioritize the interests of these nations. Honorable Chairperson of these great occasions, the adjudicators, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, guest speakers, I thank you very much for your kind attention.
It talks about the Gambia's dream. I think this is a very beautiful topic when it comes to public speaking, because I believe that anything that is not born of history, is intelligible. So to take us back to our forefathers, you see, the native man always says this, that ikonin samoye bombu kombo buke sinam. Niaje kuto be sate ko don kullolonna keramala faye. I'm just going to depict this in just 2 minutes that I have of my time. But then we need to ask ourselves, where have we gotten to? Where are we supposed to reflect on so that we know what we really have to work on today to make our future better? I think that is what we need to ask ourselves. Now, when it comes to the Gambia's dream, going back to history, our forefathers, our forefathers' fathers, they were good to one another. Imagine if they were not good to one another, today what our society will be. In fact, I think their goodness to one another, that was why I and you sitting here have good fathers and good mothers. We should reflect on our history. We should also look forward to educating our our brothers, our sisters, about our own culture. Let us revive what we have lost. Let us not look upon a foreign culture and invite it into our system that we do not recognize. I think all this conflict that is happening right now is because of that. We need to go back to our own lifestyle. We need to invite our forefathers' cultures and traditions, and that is the second dream that we need to employ. I think the other dream that the Gambia has is supposed to be a dream of sympathy. You see, today when I look into the eyes of the young people, I weep. Because at the end of the day, you all realize that we are losing sympathy. But we need not to lose it. Because the reason I am weeping is because there is no sympathy. The reason I am weeping is because I lost things that I shouldn't have lost. We should have the tendency of helping one another and see that we achieve our nation's dream. And our nation's dream is consolidating peace. Iko niyamoy kari walta, niyamoy kari warata, ala mulla warandi. The reason why we should go to our forefathers and learn their cultures is because the native man always say that Ninni so follow to dalod, and buka duomi. That is why we need to learn from each other's cultures, norms and values. The intermarriage that we found, we sustain. That is the Gambia's dream. My Gambia's dream is to revive what we have lost and to maintain what we are supposed to have gained in the future. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, today I start by reaffirming the words of Sir Samuel John Foster that under whatever circumstances, my country first. Last night, I had a dream, and this dream will be related to you today. I had a dream the last night, which I want to relate to the radiant faces here. The dream is none but the Gambian dream. I have a dream of being in a country where people will not be defined by their tribes but the content of their character. Where an individual will not be underrated because he's a Jola. Where an individual will not be underrated because he's a Mandinka or a Fuller. I have a dream of being in a country where politicians will put country before force, where politicians will avoid tax evasion and tax avoidance. I have a dream of being in a country where promises will be fulfilled. I have a dream of being in a country where education will be made available and accessible to all, where the youth will not be out in the streets because they don't have the financial means to pursue their studies. I have a dream of being in a country where people will not be considered low because of their beliefs. I have a dream of being in a country where my compatriots will tolerate, foster, and develop one another. To me, if we work harder, accept our differences, this dream will be achieved slowly but surely. I thank you for your kind attention.
The most powerful weapon in the world is not an AK-47, neither a military rifle, nor my grandmother's history, nor my grandmother's story at 3 a.m. But the most powerful weapon in the world is dream, the dream for the Gambia. No country in the world can develop in the absence of these dreams that I have for my country. And these dreams are health, education, and agriculture. These are the foundations, and these are the dreams that I have for my country. Going through the presentations, we should first consider on health. First of all, my dream for my country is health. Looking at the health sector of the Gambia is terrible. Last week, I made a visit to Mansakonko Health Center, seeing a pregnant woman going to labor, sitting on a donkey cart. That is not good. My dream for the country is to have a very good healthcare system, whereby pregnant women in the rural country will have ambulances to escort them from their hospitals to their homes. Still on the health aspect, to subsidize health, because we know that hands are not equal. People are different. We have to subsidize health to the extent that me, you, him, and every Gambian will afford health in the future. My second one is agriculture. We have been saying that growing what you eat and eat what you grow, but since 19th century, since when we are boys, we have been saying this. My dream for my country is to promote mechanized agriculture, whereby we eat what we grow and grow what we eat. Empower the farmers at the rural area. We have the soil to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. My dream for my country, agriculture. Education. Looking at the educational system, I cry sometimes when I look at the educational system. Gambia College, we don't have adequate facilities. University of the Gambia, we don't have adequate educational facilities. Senior schools, we don't have enough libraries and research centers. No civic education. My dream for my country is to make sure that the Gambia College is up to standard, the university is up to standard, and all students here will have adequate education. My dream for my country is to have adequate education. Mr. Speaker, looking at the educational system, my dream for my country is the introduction of civic education in our system. When civic education is introduced in our educational system, there will be nothing like, I don't know, how the country should be run, because you will be taught in the four corners of the classroom on how the country is governed and the civic aspect of the country. We see today that 3 years young people are demonstrating. It's because lack of civic awareness. When civic education is introduced to our educational system, there will be development. Dream for my country.
Thank you very much. Permit me to recognize the MC and of course panel of educators and the audience. My name is Muhammad Basir Gambia, Gambian. My Gambian dream will be twofold. First and foremost, I will talk about improved healthcare facilities, which will eradicate where the poor will be characterized by abject poverty, malnutrition, cholera, cancer, quasi-poor, malaria and HIV and AIDS, muddy houses, muddy lives, and short life expectancy will be eradicated in my Gambian country. Where we will have improved health sector. Our mothers stop trekking kilometers to find medication. And of course, this will be done and will be achieved if we are so patriotic in the climate we are living. Where we will not die because of malaria, we will not die because of headaches, we will not die because simple stomach ache. So this is my Gambian dream. Aside from that, I also want to talk about a very fundamental issue here that would be improved agriculture. Because I always keep asking myself, is the Gambians ready to farm in the next 100 years? Only the fact that the population according to Gibbons, we are growing at 3.3%, in which every Gambian needs a land. Then in the near future, you will not have land. What you will do is to involve in aquaculture. The grand aid that we have, we develop it, and of course study our aquaculture, where we live in a life of decent, where our rights where our dignities are respected and actualized in dreams. If you look at our farmers, we have 75% of the population is farmers. And of course, if you look at the way they go to farm, they would invest in such issues, end of the day they will have nothing absolutely. So we will improve that in my Gambian dream. Aside from that, I will talk about political rapport through civic education, where it has been captured in 1997 Constitution of the Republic of Gambia, Section 198 and 99 indicate there should be National Council for Civic Education, where we are talking about our basic rights and fundamental rights as citizens. We improve in that. We go to Dr. Ismail Assisi, talk about it. He will lecture us and of course manufacture ideas so that we can improve our our political rapport, where every man would know what was deep down in the heart of his fellow man. We go in legal fraternity, where we have Esafal will take us to the promised land, where he will teach us issues to right, our rights and fundamental freedoms, so that we live a decent life in which our dignities will be respected. And of course, I will not relent on that. Neither brutality, no cruelty or burden would make me to beg for mercy for that. And I will use that, and of course, through the educational sector to realize what is enshrined in the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of Gambia. And of course, in the draft document also, we will improve such. This is my Gambian dream, and subscribe to that. Thank you very much. The fact that you have recognized our invitation and come here to
grace this occasion, where young people are contesting with their ideas and telling us that what do they dream about this country. So 5 of them have already presented, so we have another 5 that will make their presentation. Of course, yes, we have a protocol that we follow, and the protocol is that we follow their surname. So if you are fortunate to be A, of course, yes, you will be the first speaker. And then if you are fortunate to be B, or if you are not also fortunate to be M like me, that is Mendy, then you have to come between the middle. So that's it. And now we are moving on forward. Now the next speaker we have on the Gambian Dream is Usman Jassi. Usman Jassi, come and make your presentation before us.
The Gambia's dream, the dream of the nation, your dream, my dream, and the dream of the founding fathers of this nation. We dream of a country where we are going to have responsive and responsible government that is going to recognize the fundamental rights, the freedoms and liberties of the people as it is enshrined in the Constitution to which we all owe allegiance. I dream of a country where the government is going to consider fundamental investment in the rights of the potential of the young people of this country, because the young people, the youth, are the foundation of every society. Any society that wishes to move from one level to another, you must invest in the potential of young men and women of your country so they realize their potential. I dream of a country where the government is going to make investment in education, because education is the foundation of every society, to equip our young men and women with the requisite skills, with the competence and the skills that are needed so they compete in the competitive global market, so they change the narrative and they inspire the world. I dream of a country where the government is going to make sure that adequate investment is done in healthcare services, so we make sure no citizen dies of curable diseases. We equip our hospitals with fundamental facilities that are required to carry out all the surgery operations that are needed. Sometimes it bemused me just to be informed that our young men and women, our mothers, our fathers, die of diseases because there is no sufficient facility that could provide their curing. I dream of a country where the men and the women of this country will come together to promote social cohesion, to love, to appreciate, to have religious tolerance, to make sure we conduct our affairs not on the basis of tribalism, politics, but on the content of our character. I dream of a country where the young people of this nation will come together, united by common vision and vision and vision, with the purpose of liberating the people of this country. I dream of a country where we are going to have strengthened institutions to make sure services are provided adequately and efficiently, with vibrant civil society organization that is going to make sure they provide political orientation so we have the law of patriotism. I dream of a country where people are going to promote peace and are going to be law-abiding. In order to do this, we must come together as one people with one goal and with one ambition, and that is to love, be patriotic, and pursue the ultimate goal of our nation. So in the end of the day, we embrace what is called collective prosperity and collective progress. No citizen is left behind, whereas the other is in front. We all move at the same pace. Solely, we shall owe allegiance not only to the fundamental constitution of our country, but the dream of the founding fathers. That's my dream. That's your dream, and that's the dream of each and every person who loves this country, and that is patriotism. Thank you.
Every dream begins with a dreamer. Respecting the standing protocols, my greetings to the honorable adjudicators and the distinguished guests, as well as the students that are here today. Speaking on the topic, the Gambia's dream, it is important that the difference between the blind and every normal human being is identified. Vision is a key difference between a blind and every normal human being. Because if you are not with a vision, you are going in a dimension that is characterized by laying you to where you don't want to find yourself. So it is important that you have a dream, and then this dream becomes your vision, because without a vision you cannot prosper, and without executing that vision it's just a delusion. Mr. Speaker, the dream, my dream, our dream, the dream of this country, first is to ensure that it becomes the economic power of this world, to align its development with the recommendation of with the United Nations, with the World, that is the human capital development, where health is not compromised, where education of our youth, of our people is enhanced, because we understand that without these two components, we wouldn't have the labor force to man our affairs. So this human capital development is inextricably linked to our development. And how can we ensure this? By providing education for our people, for our nation. I dream of a country where the government, where policymakers move away from opinion-based decisions to evidence-based decisions. This is ensured by providing enough research as far as making decisions are concerned. I dream of a country whereby the process of development is not skipped, as recommended by the economics. Every development has stages. We have agriculture, we have industry, we have service. You cannot skip one and go to the other. Where agriculture is upheld, where people are financed, not using micro but mega financing, where industries are established, where the government gives room for investors to invest in our country, where services service providers provides adequate and efficient service for its country. I dream of a Gambia where there is political sanity, where political orientation is upheld by all citizens, where with this dream, every dream can be achieved, and this can be achieved through our sweat, through our hard work and determination, and coming together. And with this, I hope and pray that this dream is achieved. Thank you.
Today, if I walk on the street and meet with somebody and ask that individual, who are you? The first response is, I am a Senegalese, if he is one. If I walk on the street and meet with somebody who is not Senegalese but something else, if I ask that individual, who are you? The person will tell me, I am a Ghanaian, I am a Nigerian, and I am something else. So why can't we start identifying ourselves as Gambians and not Ndaifatu, Aisatu, etc.? This is what defines us. We are Gambians before being who we are, before our names. And this is the dream we have as a nation. First, I will recognize the presence of the adjudicators, co-contestants, and of course, the audience. The Gambia I dream of is the Gambia that has a growth in the economic system. To look at the economic system, we all know that the Gambia has a very bad economic status, right? And this is the Gambia I dream of. The Gambia where there's an increase in GDP, and this can improve the standard of living of every citizen of this country, and this is the Gambia we dream of. The Gambia I dream of is the Gambia that has a high infrastructural development which can make us proud of what we have and not going to other places and standing there taking fancy pictures. And if you're in Senegal and you just take a picture and send it in the Gambia, everybody will think you are abroad. Faker, you're not abroad, you're just in Senegal. And this is the same thing that we want in the Gambia. We want to embrace our own, we want to accept our own, we want to see a Gambia where we have good roads, where we have bridges and etc. This can lead us to the development that we want. We cannot say development without being economically strong, without having the infrastructural development that we all desire, having good roads, having a lot of schools to improve education. Education is a right and not just a want. It's a right. The Gambia we want is a Gambia where there is women and youth empowerment in the country. You cannot walk into an office and apply for a job and you are being discriminated because you're a woman. You're being asked for your body because you're a girl. I mean, this is not the Gambia we dream of. The Gambia I dream of is a Gambia where people are given their opportunities because of their qualification, being employed because of the high level of education and what they have achieved. This is the Gambia we dream of. How can we materialize this dream? It's the big question. First, we are going to elect people who are economically oriented and can satisfy our needs the way we want it. Secondly, we are going to promote people based on qualification and not because of they are beautiful, not because they are something else, but because of the qualification and high level of experience that they have. This is the Gambia I dream of. In summary, Chief Adjudicator, I was able to come up with 3 points of the Gambia we want. And that is the infrastructural development, growth, and of course, democracy, women and youth empowerment. And then I told this house How are we going to achieve this? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ramatulai Kadam. Our Gambian dream. The Gambian dream, I dream of a Gambia where health, education, agriculture, energy, and security will remain the pillars of our national development. Our Gambian dream should not be focused on any other sector, but on the most important sector. One of it will be on communication. When we look at the Gambia nowadays, we called for democracy. But actually, my dream is for Gambians to understand democracy, for the political leaders to not only be political leaders with, to not only be leaders with kleptomaniac fingers and succulent filaments, but to be practical leaders, leaders who will promise and at the same time implement their promises. My dream as a Gambian and our Gambian dream is for us to drive away tribalism, nepotism, and favoritisms. Deprivation, and my Gambian dream is to, the Gambian dream that I have is to make sure that deprivation will be replaced with opportunities, opportunities which will be matched with the preparedness of the citizens of the Gambia. The Gambian dream should help to, as Gambians, our dream is to have access to resources. A dream that must be transformed. A dream that should not be just a dream, but a dream that can be constructed, just like architects will construct at the same time, use this construction to build structures. Our Gambian dream should be a dream that will help to develop the Gambia and move us to another level. As we look at the Gambia today, or nowadays, the Gambia is at a state that people, you can't just understand. The people are living in a mess because we fail to understand what we are actually calling for. We call for things that we are actually not doing. Thank you.
I know I live in a society that faces numerous challenges. And these challenges, after 5 decades of independence, we still suffered from bad governance system. I live in a society where young people are termed as the majority of the population, but they are not catered for. And I know I live in a society where the agriculture that's supposed to serve as the bedrock of the development is not being catered for. I live in a society where education, health are not prioritized. I live in a society where people are defined and labeled by the character of their tribes or the character of their content, that is the brain that the value possess. I live in a society where we have fragile security. And I know I live in a society where corruption and mismanagement of funds are the order of the day. But however, I believe the only difference between death and living is dream, a hope. I have a dream. I have a dream that someday I will live in a society where responsive, productive, representative leadership will be manifested by our political leaders. This has to go with citizenship that know their rights and responsibilities. I have a dream that someday there will be sound and progressive economic growth for the society through education, health, and agriculture, where young people are going to be employed through their skills and their technical abilities, not only in academy. I have a dream that someday I will live in a society which is going to be socially cohesive. People are not going to be labeled by their tribes, but by the content of their character. Politicians are going to be elected in the office by the content of their brains and what they can do for the society, but not the tribes that label them. I have a dream that you and I will live in a Gambia free from injustice, free from tribalism, free from nepotism, a Gambia that is going to cater for you and I and for the generation yet unborn. I believe dreams are not only a dream, once prudence of readiness resides within. So you and I, we are the hopes of our society. and then these dreams must be fulfilled. We must live in a society that is going to represent our wills and desires. We must live in a society where young people, men and women, will be respected and they will be catered for in every part of our development. I have a dream that Gambia would be a Gambia for everyone, regardless of your tribe. Thank you.
Thank you very much. My name is Al Hassan Rame, and I also have a dream. But before going into that dream, I would like you to know that the Gambia is facing a problem of governance. The Gambia has evolved to two stages. That is, the form they have evolved from colonization and then dictatorship. But now we are facing problems of governance. So we live in a Gambia where politicians promise for the sake of getting votes. So I have a dream. I have a dream that one day politicians will attach value to our votes. I have a dream that one day, once a person asks me, which tribe do you emanate from? And I respond, a Gambian. They will really understand what I mean. I have a dream that one day my sons and daughters will come to me and tell me that the University of the Gambia has finally gotten adequate classrooms, seats, libraries, and the university has finally gotten its own campus in the Faraba, which has never finished being erected. I have a dream that one day all Gambians will lay more emphasis on responsibility than right. Because up to this day, we only talk about our rights. What are the rights of children? What are our rights? But we never question what are our responsibilities. So I have a dream that one day we will question ourselves about our responsibility, the responsibility that we have to our country. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day all Gambians will attach value and will appreciate Gambian products. Because up to this day, once you mention that your product is from the Gambia, they attach some sentiments to it. And that is something that we must stop if we want to reach our Gambian dream. I have a dream that one day, all Gambian diplomats, once they go on a particular conference, will actually know what they are there for, not to act like junglers who don't know their own mission. So I have a dream that one day, once our diplomats walk into the negotiation room, they will sit and negotiate for what is the interest of the Gambia and not their personal interest. And just to summarize, our Honorable Speaker and members of this House, I have spoken about the inner attitude of leaders, that is the poor governance. I have also mentioned the two forms of liberation that we have gone through, that is liberation from colonization and liberation from dictatorship, but yet still we are facing poor governance. So therefore, I would like to stop there and thank you for your kind attention.
Content matter, and matter as well as audience engagement and confidence. These are issues that we've been looking at. And I'm glad that some of you display some of those benchmarks we've set for you. Notwithstanding, we saw certain lapses that have occurred while you were presenting your case. So basically, in public speaking, I think most of you are talking about that. The things that we look at, or the things that you have to put into consideration while trying to sell your case is, since the topic given to you is the Gambian dream. So if it is a Gambian dream, it means the idea that you'll be selling has to be holistic, in the sense that it has to cut across the key sectors that will help you drive or reach a Gambia that you aspire for. Also, we've observed certain things that are very, very alien to the concept of public speaking. That is the manner in which some people structure their argument. The arguments, sometimes it's difficult to allocate where your case lies. And the other thing that we also observe is that Some are so much attacked to the podium to an extent that, in fact, their engagement with the audience seem to be too loose. And that should be existing so that your message will be, will be well articulated. And the other thing, the last thing that I will try to put across here is, whilst you are trying to present your case, you should try to show some sign of distinction with someone who perhaps may speak on the same topic, perhaps in the United States of America. Some, in fact, trying to incline themselves more to Dr. Martin Luther King in the manner he articulated or the manner he tried to push his choice of word. I think we should try to show some kind of distinction from some of the great speakers. We can use their quotations at the beginning or at the closing part, but then we should not be repeating the manner in which they push their word. That will show a sign of trying to copy directly from someone. I'm not saying that somebody has copied directly, but he tried to profess something to us which actually is similar to that. So basically, we will be doing our compilations. We have great speakers. In fact, those people can serve as an inspiration today, where you will be learning from them. And of course, when we come back, we will give you the feedback as to how the competition went. And I'm sure some of you are great speakers. Thank you all.
As I said initially, that wherever you go around this country, you realize that these people are the people that we talked about because of the great things that they are doing for this country. Of course, the first person that I will invite is no other person but a Gambian who is trained in law and serving this community both nationally and internationally. That is SRFAL, lead counsel. So SRFAL, the podium is yours.
Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. First of all, as they would typically do in Gambia, everybody who's given the opportunity to say something, there's this standard phrase I have come to learn: all protocols observed, or all protocols duly observed. So in my case also, I would say greetings to all of you. All protocols duly observed, of course recognizing the presence of Dr. Ismail Assise, a distinguished lecturer of this institution. I am really thankful for this invitation. I wasn't expecting that I would have anything to say. I thought I would just come and listen. But indeed, I have heard quite interesting things being said by the speakers. Some more eloquently than others. But more importantly, every single one of you have brought out a very significant malaise that is afflicting our society. And all of you have a dream to someday see those malaise addressed. The unfortunate bit in everything that I have heard is that it is mainly left to the politicians to address those problems. But none of you have confidence in those politicians. None of you. Why would you consign or assign the progress, the destiny of this country in the hands of the politicians? I agree not. It is our collective responsibility, individually, every single one of us, to ensure that we get the Gambia that we want. Whether they agree to what we want or disagree with what we want, they will all, every single one of them, from top to bottom, do as we direct, because they are our servants. And until we all have that mindset, things will not change. Because if they think that they are Mansa, if they think that they are king, if they think that what we have and what we get depends on their own largesse, we will never get anything. And that is why the mindset has to change, and the hope resides in you. I came today for one important reason. When I went to school in Gambia, I attended only one debate competition, and that was my primary six in Windy Primary School. Well, it's now Sadara, if it has not disappeared, you know. But you know what was the topic? It is better to be a man than a woman. But that just shows shows the backwardness of our mentality at the time. Today, I am so impressed that at your age, you're talking about a dream for this country. So times have changed quite considerably. And because of that, I am hopeful. Because of that, I am confident. I have seen the speaker before me churning out a litany of the things that some of their lecturers would say. I am impressed simply because I know that ideas are being imparted from one set to another. I sit here, I listen to all of you. You all have ideas, and I hope that our politicians have listened to what you have to say. Because I wasn't so much interested in how flowing the speech was, or how captivating it was, but I was more interested in the message that you people have to deliver to your leaders. These are the cries of the young people of the Gambia, and I hope that people have listened. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to first of all thank the organizers, the Banjul Open Debate, for doing a very good job. You've been doing this for a very long time. I think you are one of the oldest sub-associations in this university. I'd also like to acknowledge the presence of my very good friend, Mr. Esafal. Can you please stand up, Mr. Esafal? Can you please give this man a round of applause, please, for the wonderful job he is doing for this country. I understand there is a vote going on for the man of the year. I would definitely give him my vote for the man of the century, of course. I've been sitting at the back listening keenly to our dreamers, but I want to wake them up from their slumber and bring them back to reality. And what is that reality? Obviously, they've talked about their dreams, and what are those dreams is the kind of Gambia they want to see. But if you go to bed and sleep and you dream, if you wake up, what do you face? Reality. And what are those realities? The reality is, for 54 years, as a country, we are yet to feed ourselves. We cannot feed ourselves. The reality is, for 54 years as a country, we cannot cure ourselves if we are sick. The reality is, for 54 years, we cannot still clothe ourselves as we still depend on Fogajai. The reality is, our young people, who make up 65% of the population, are unemployed. The majority are unemployed, and they have nothing to do. To the extent that they made a decision that they rather die at sea than to stay in their own countries. You tell them to go into business, they'll open shops. They'll go 3 days without able to sell anything. The reality is, our health sector is a death trap. If you want to die, go to the hospitals. Our hospitals are empty. In the 21st century Gambia, we are still going around begging for blood, that we are looking for someone to donate us blood, group X or group Y. 21st century, that is our reality. Our reality is that if you go to Brikama Health Center or Kuntawur Health Center maternity ward, you'll think that you are in a war zone. 3 women are put in one small bed. No incubators, no oxygen. That is the reality. Our reality is, our education system has plummeted. The quality is not there, the relevance is not there. We have a situation where you get schooled, but you are not educated. Our reality is, our pensioners are left to die in indignity. You work for your country for 40 years, and you are told to go home and retire, and you are paid $200 every month. You are subject to the worst form of indignity. You cannot even buy a piece of land for yourself, and you die renting, leaving your family living in rented home. Our reality is, our school children are finding it difficult to get to school because we don't have a comprehensive transportation system. The other day, I met 3 young children at Banjul. They were heading back home because they could not get a vehicle to go to school, and they were late. And if they are late, they close the school door. They missed school day on that day. You are forced to use the same vans that we are using as adults, and you pay the same price, or you have to beg for lift back and forth from school. That is the reality. Our reality is that our children are exposed to all forms of exploitation at the tourism industry without nobody paying attention. The reality is that our environment is being destroyed. You drive your car towards Kiang, they are burning all our bush. The forest is no more. We are depleting our seas. We sold our ocean to the Chinese and other foreigners that we cannot even afford to eat fish in our own country. The reality is that the workers are being exploited on a daily basis, employed by Indians on Karaba Avenue, by the banks, by security companies, and paid less than the value of their labor. They are paid money that they cannot subsist with. They are forced to beg for leave to go to work and from work. That is the reality. The reality is our farmers are struggling on a daily basis. The government hasn't bought 1 ton of granules from our farmers this year. All their peanuts are bought by the Senegalese, and they've been forgotten. Our reality is that we have an economy that is not sustainable. You cannot have a country depending on aids and grants for how long? It is not sustainable. Everything we eat, everything we wear, everything we need is imported. We eat chicken legs from outside. We cannot even afford to eat our own chicken. There's nothing we manufacture in this country. That is our reality. Finally, our reality is that our demographic dynamics is scary. They are telling us that there are 243 births a day in this country. That with this rate, we are projected to reach 5 million people in 2050. Are we ready for 5 million people? Do we have the roads? You see how traffic is blocked on a daily basis now. We are only 2.3. Wait until we have 5 million. If you don't build new roads, chaos. Do we have the houses? No. 60% of our population are living in urban Gambia because there's nothing in rural Gambia. Everybody's moving here. Are we ready for 5 million people, urban Gambia? We don't have the roads, the homes, the energy, the electricity, the water, nothing. And that is scary. And 70% of this 50 million will be, of this 5 million will be young people, frustrated, feeling alienated, no jobs. And that is a recipe for disaster. That is the reality that we have to start paying attention to. Otherwise, our dreams will just be dreams. Thank you.
Then I have a dream that Africans shall one day unite, that one day we shall stop the fight and work both day and night, because for the poets to recite, we must do what is right for the future of our country to be bright like the moonlight. So what do? Let's introduce diversity, break the gate of criminality, cut the tongue of brutality, trample the gates of stability, because Africa is our motherland. So corruption should not make us run, but instead for us to work with the heroes of Africa in hand, stand strong and say no more slavery, mount people who want to introduce bribery, and fight for liberty. Let Africa be the land of change, the land of hope, the land of heroes, the land of legends, and the land of intellectuals. Then I have a dream. Welcome to the generation of education, the generation of psychological colonialism, where peace is kicked out for corruption, leaders fighting for position with their myopic vision, evil mission, stand strong and say that our economy will be good. When the economy of our country is in their pockets, buying expensive houses and Ferraris, paying millions of dollars for their sons and daughters for school fees, and we the poor and needy are still suffering. Why all of Nyai Saleralna, Nene Chico Karaula, so Godogere dina Sahad. Why need the Sulayala Fale, Nanga Fale knew the Dole, Paskilolu Mumuna Suka Reumu Denkana. Then I have a dream that as long as we are no more into insanity, let's open the gates of love for the educated men to drive the vehicle of development in our respective African states. For success to take place, repress tribalism for patriotism, corruption for dedication, segregation for inspiration. Then rapes, crimes, and bad dreams shall soon go. So let the wars die, let the tears dry, let the fears die, let the voice of the generation point be high and reach the sky, let the widow stop the cry. Suboba, Nyumbolo, Rofo, Lonko, Johande, I love goto pour aar suñu réew mi Africa parce que néeg bi benn banta su fa manqué rek dina seena. Then I have a dream. Thank you.
Right. We are going to have the Prime Minister to speak first. The Prime Minister comes from the opposition government. After the Prime Minister, we will have the opposition leader to respond. After the opposition leader, we will have the Deputy Prime Minister. And after the Deputy Prime Minister, we have the Deputy Opposition Leader. Now that marks the end of the first half of the debate. We now move to the second half of the debate, and the first speaker will be the government member. Government member will speak, and then we have a response from opposition member, and then we will have the whip. The government will close the argument for the government side. The government side, that's the proposition side. Final speaker for this debate would be the opposition whip. Now, in the adjudication panel, I have Mr. Kemo Konde. Omar, are you joining us? All right, we have Omar Sise and Boubacar Tarawale. Now, can we have the Prime Minister to open the debate?
Good afternoon, Mr. Speaker, members of the House, ladies and gentlemen. I appear in my capacity as the Prime Minister to submit the motion which reads, this House believes that this House is going to sanction political parties with links of human rights violation. Mr. Speaker and members of the House, permit me to first read the outline of my submission. I'm going to define the key terms in the motion, and I'm going to set the parameter of this debate, and I'm going to advance 4 points. My first point is going to be on human rights violation that justify why these political parties must be sanctioned. And the second point is going to be the right of political association is not absolute. And the third point is that by refusing to sanction these political parties is going to cause injustice. And the third point is that sanctioning these political parties promote peaceful political practice. Now to define the key terms in the motion. The first key term in the motion is sanction. According to the Oxford Dictionary, sanction means a threatened penalty for disobeying a law or rule. A threatened penalty for disobeying a law or a rule. The second most important word in the motion or the term is political party. In the context of the Gambia, political party is a group of people that are registered and recognized by the IEC. The third key term is human rights. Human rights are rights that we have because we are humans, and they are rights that are guaranteed in the 1997 Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. Now to bring my first point, or to give you what we mean by sanction. Sanction in this context, the parameter of the debate. We are saying we are going to prosecute the heads of political parties accused of fundamental human rights violation. That is the context of the word sanction in this debate. The first point why we are going to prosecute the heads of political parties is number one, for their human rights violation. Political parties that are formed and have the primary purpose of only violating the rights of the people by threatening people and threatening peaceful coexistence of the society. Political parties accused of arbitrary arrest, political parties that are accused of torture, and political parties that are accused of inciting violence through hate speeches. We believe such political parties must be prosecuted accordingly, because you cannot be a political party, you are torturing people, a political party, you are spreading hate message that is going to create instability and undermine the peace and stability of the nation. We believe for their human rights violation, political parties must be prosecuted, the heads of political parties. Secondly, the right of political association is not absolute. I know they are going to say it's going to be a violation of their right, but Section 25.4 makes it very much clear that the right to political association and assembly is not absolute. It is subjected to other laws. That means if the enjoyment of this right is going to violate the rights of other people, then the law is going to impose unnecessary measures so as to deter these political parties parties from systematically violating the right of other people. And that is why we are saying we are going to prosecute the heads of political parties who are accused of systematic human rights violations, such as torture, such as hate speeches, and any other act of political parties that is going to threaten the peace and security of the society. The third point is it causes injustice for the violation of abuse and human rights. This means if we don't prosecute the heads of political parties accused of human rights violations, we are going to do injustice to the victims of their human rights violations. And we believe that is going to operate against natural justice and is also going to operate against the laws of the land. Because for any political party, any association, any person who infringes upon the right of another person, it is only in the interest of justice and peaceful coexistence of the society for the law to prosecute the doers or the perpetrators of that horrendous political practice, which is inconsistent with the laws of the land. If you have any view, I am going to take from the closing. Okay, so if you don't have it, then that's fine. An example is, let's take example of the Jammeh violation. Jammeh is the head of the APRC political party. We are saying we are not going to prosecute, we are not going to sanction APRC as a political party in that by prosecuting them, but we are going to prosecute the heads of the APRC political party, such as Jammeh himself. And this is what the government of the Gambia is raising. This is what the international community is raising. This is what the victims are raising. You have even seen not long ago the victims of Jammeh violation went on the street. They are saying Jammeh must be brought to justice because their rights were violated. So if we don't put necessary measures by prosecuting the heads of political parties, we are going to create a society full of conflict, instability, and insecurity, and it's going to be injustice. And my third point is, it is going to promote peaceful political practice. Political parties must have responsibility, and they must have a duty to fulfill to the nation and the people of the country, not by violating the rights of the people. If they violate the rights of the people, then they are not political parties. Because one of the objectives of political parties is to be formed to promote good governance, to restore the rights and freedoms of the people, and to create a society that allows each and every citizen to realize his or her potential, to provide healthcare facilities, to provide adequate water supply, to provide education. These are what we mean the works of political parties, but not by violating the rights of the people. In respect of that, I'm going to give a summary of my presentation. I've defined the key terms of the motion. I've introduced 4 points. One is on human rights. The second one is that it's going to it's not an absolute right. And the third point is by refusing to do so, it's going to cause injustice. And the fourth point is that it is going to promote peaceful political practice. What I need from the opponent opposition and the members is to tell me why it is just, why it is lawful, and why it is legal not to prosecute heads of political parties who violate the rights of the people. Thank you so much.
Good evening, Mr. Speaker, and the House, and the wonderful audience here present. Mr. Speaker, in my capacity as the opposition leader, first what I'm going to do is to rebound on some of the points that have been raised here by the Prime Minister. And of course, from there what I'm going to do is to present forth my points as to why we think we have a better approach to the topic here in question, which is this House will sanction political parties that are linked to human rights violations. Mr. Speaker, to start with, the Prime Minister came here and then tried to baffle us with grammar, but I think we still need to use a microscope and look at the presentation or the submission he made here, which when we will realize that he came here to do nothing but to mislead this House and then to misinform this House, because his argument was not in depth but on the surface. Now, on the first point, he said that they are going to sanction political parties that are linked to human rights violations based on the fact that human rights violation is injustice. But he said that they are only going to sanction or prosecute political leaders. and he said that will secure justice. Now, I want to, in my report, I will say, Mr. Speaker, is that not in itself injustice when you just prosecute the leaders and not just those beneath? Because in some instances, it may not just be the leaders that take part in this violation of human rights, but sometimes it could be from people beneath. Now, when you are just prosecuting those on top, are you not in a way bringing for a manifest or demonstrating injustice in itself? Just prosecuting the heads and not those underneath. Now, another thing he said was to ensure what political parties have duties and responsibilities, which is what to promote peace and to promote union and to educate their young people on what to educate their members so as to not to promote violence but to promote peace and so on. Now he is talking about political parties, which of course it has to be collectiveness. Now when we just prosecute the leaders and leave those beneath, it's not selective justice. Is that not selective justice? And I would want this House to think on it, and of course those from the opening government and closing government, I would want them to think on that, if that will not be selective justice. Now, Mr. Speaker, to move on to our points from the opening government, opening opposition rather, what we believe in the opening opposition is we want to come up with an alternative, Mr. Speaker, and our alternative will be to encourage what? Reconciliation, repatriation, and reintegration. And this we will do through these means. First of all, to seek for the truth to see whether is it only the leaders that took part in this human rights violation, or it is both the leaders and those beneath. And if it is both the leaders and those beneath, then the government bench or the opening government did not give us sufficient reasons as to why we should prosecute these people. For us, we believe that if there is to be prosecution, it has to be each and everyone that's involved. And how do we go about this? It's to establish a commission that is going to seek into the human rights violation, find the truth, who are the perpetrators. Then from there, we will promote what? Reconciliation, reintegration, and repatriation. On that note, I would want to take a single POI. And if there is none, then I will move on, Mr. Speaker. Any POI from the opening government and closing government? Mr. Speaker, if there is no opening POI, then I will proceed. Mr. Speaker, first of all, what I did was to report on some of the points that were raised here by the Prime Minister that were just on the surface. First of all, I report on his point that has to do with securing justice for the victims of human rights violation. And in reporting, I said, Mr. Speaker, that is selective justice when we just prosecute the leaders and we ignore those that are beneath, who must have, in one way or the other, also contributed. Like they said, that political parties have what? Responsibility. And they don't just say the leaders, but they say political parties, which of course denotes that it has to be collective responsibility. So when you prosecute the leaders and then leave those beneath that had taken part in one way or the other in the human rights violation, then you are bringing about selective justice. And I don't think in this 21st century we should be doing something that has to do with selective justice and not justice to be served for each and every individual. And Mr. Speaker, furthermore, what I did was what? I presented an alternative, which is what? To come up with a commission, to set up a commission that is going to look into the truth. We think that is the best way. We want to look at the truth. Who and who are responsible? And if we know who and who are responsible, then we will move on to prosecute them, but not just concluding that, okay, it is the leaders because the leaders are in charge, so we are going to prosecute them. We believe that is selective justice, but we will set a commission, look into this human rights violation, who and who are responsible, and treat or deal with them according to law. And then another thing I said, when we find out the truth, then what we will do is what? To promote reconciliation and reintegration. And from there, Mr. Speaker, I believe this is the best way. This is what we believe from the opening opposition. Thank you.
Part of my debate would be, I will say what I want to say it and remind what I've said. And in that, I will report on the points of the opposition leader, strengthen and reinforce the points of my partner, then keep my points summarized, and then conclude the debate. And if there's any POI, I will take. So, to start with the voters, I am not surprised when the opposition leader stood before this house, he could not give even a single point why we must not prosecute political leaders that violate the fundamental rights of the citizens. Now, here there's a question that I'm going to answer. He said, why are we prosecuting the political leaders only, not the members? This is simple. you cannot give us any concrete evidence in history where fundamental rights were violated and every citizen that involved was prostituted. We give this example because in the case of Rwanda, where citizens were abused in their fundamental human rights, the government, what did they do? They did it in a way that they prostitute only the leaders that were involved in that process. Because in doing so, you cannot prostitute every citizen that is involved in the process of violating the fundamental human rights. Why? Okay, now the question would be, what means are you going to use to identify every single person in the case of genocide that is involved in that, and it's been done by a political party? What means are you going to use? And then the other thing that you've raised is your point. You said you are going to do reconciliation, reparation, and integration. But we are saying even in that we can prostitute. Reparation we can prostitute because this is simple. Prostitute don't actually mean that we are going to ban these people. We are going to make them accountable of their acts. That is the acts that they do against other citizens as the liberal citizens of the society. Now to move down to my partner's point, he gave 4 points. And then these are simple. The first point that he gave is fundamental human rights were violated. That is human right violation. How do you tell me as a citizen that we are not going to prosecute somebody that violates the rights of an individual as a citizen in the society? And then in that we are saying we are going to prosecute the leaders responsible, not the entire political party. And then in that, if you say if the citizens are involved, we have judiciary system that is responsible of maintaining order. And then the other point that he said, rights of political participation is not absolute. So if you say, and at that point, in fact, that is not been counted because you have not raised any point that talked about right of political participation. And then you also said it may cause injustice to the victims. So in an instant where a victim is being violated, and then you said you are going to reparate and then you are going to reconcile, if in an instant that victim is not satisfied with that, are you going to play justice in that? So your alternative does not stand. And then moving on, we also talk about promotes peaceful political participation. That is peaceful political practice in the society. If an instant we say, and then we have a law that is saying that if anybody violates, that is if any political party violates the fundamental rights of the citizen, that political party would be sanctioned and then it would be prosecuted. That is going to pay dividend in our political practices because people are going to pay dividend, they are going to pay attention to that, and that is going to bring about peaceful political practice. Now to moving down to my points. One is to avoid recurrence of history of violation of fundamental human rights of citizens. Because we believe as a bank that if we prosecute political leaders that are responsible for so, this is going to help us to avoid recurrence of history. That is, people are going to pay attention not to violate fundamental rights of citizens. That is not to torture them, not to do things that are against their rights as a citizen in the state. And then the other point that I have is to promote and sustain responsive leadership and citizenship. So if we have that, if we have people prosecuted for their actions against other citizens, so this is going to promote what? Responsive. People are going to be responsible for their acts as a leader. So also citizens are going to pay attention because citizens may someday assume the position of political leaders, and then this is going to promote and sustain our responsive citizens, and which is going to pay dividend to our development. And then the other point that I have is to promote good governance. And in good governance, we are talking about effective and efficient participation, transparency, and accountability. So why do we say this? Because if you prosecute political leaders that are responsible for this, in time, political leaders are going to pay attention to that because people must participate in politics. And if they are participating now, if they are not going to be violated, that is going to promote participation. People are not going to feel threatened to participate in the politics. And then this is going to promote transparency and accountability in the context of our development. And then the other point that I have is to promote rule of law. In the context of a society where laws are not respected, in our laws we talk about fundamental human rights. That means every citizen deserves to be respected, and then you deserve to live a decent life. So if you come as a political leader and then you are violating my right as a citizen, are you not causing treason because you are going against the law that binds us as a people? So if we do this, this is going to pay dividend to our development because citizens are going to be protected, and that is going to promote rule of law. Now to give summary of my points, I report on his alternative, that is reparation, and then I give examples. That doesn't occur in any society, and then he didn't give any example. And then also I strengthen the points of my partner that talk about human rights violation. Right to political assassination is not absolute. It causes injustice to the victims, and also promote peaceful political practices. And then I advance my points. It will help to avoid recurrence of history, and then promote and sustain responsive leadership and citizenship. And then the other point it will promote good governance. In that we are saying effective and efficient participation, transparency and accountability. And then the other point that I give is it will promote rule of law in the society. People are not going to rule us by the consent or the desire of them. So we are going to avoid individualistic leadership, and then we are going to promote inclusive and participatory leadership. So therefore I raise my case.
The deputy opposition leader to stand in the case of the opposition bed.
Speaker of the House, panel of adjudicators, the proposers and the opposers of this proposition, I agree to you. Oscar Wilde said, and I quote, "If one listens, one may be convinced. But if one allows himself to be thoroughly convinced by an argument, that individual is an unreasonable person," unquote. I will try to remind this House, the argument of the opponent government lacks merit, focus, and particularity. Before going further, I would like to read the editorial layout of my debate. First and foremost, I will report the business point mentioned by the Prime Minister and his deputy, and of course, then on the other hand side, I would tell and of course strengthen the points of the opposition leader, the eloquent man in this House. Then I would advocate without abrogation, give you 3 points, compress and engage the House, then take what we call a flagging POI. That's the only one that is accepted in this House. Then I compress and engage the House and summarize my debate. Honorable Speaker, it is so sad that when the Prime Minister appeared in his dress, and of course with so much eloquence, cannot define what we call political party, and of course he brought a layman definition in this House which shall not be accepted by this Honorable House. When we talk about a political party, according to the English of Atlantic, talk about an organization that comes together, seeks political power in a particular country. On that note, please retire because your mortality in this debate is very, very short. Now he indicates and asserted that prosecuting heads, and he tells us how. Are you going to take them to the court? They keep on jumping or whatsoever. No, you do not tell us the mechanism. How would you arrive at prosecuting these people? You failed to inform this House. He asserted that something in the political parties is part of like prosecuting the heads alone. Please, a tree does not make a forest. If you sanction them or you punish the political parties, you are even creating more problems in the political atmosphere of the country. Owing to the fact that you will kill the spirit of those young politicians who come into politics and of course to learn. So that does not matter. And of course, in our subsequent alternative, I will tell you why. Honorable Speaker, how will you prosecute these people? Is the question of the day that demands unequivocal answer before we march boldly here with resounding victories. Honorable Speaker of the House, going to the case of the Deputy Prime Minister, to my side, and of course I'm very, very sad, you indicate to us that prosecute. No, we don't talk about prosecute here. Prosecute, please. Try and understand my words. In fact, you're supposed to withdraw police from this House with an immediate effect. And of course, arrest will be effected, then you will be brought to the court by the competent court of jurisdiction. Honorable Speaker, on your hand side, he mentioned that, and of course, in that manner, he accused my Prime Minister of mentioning, my deputy opposition of something like genocide. No, we are talking about genocide. Genocide, I mean, killing a particular group of people because of their belief, and it does not happen in the country as we speak. So that does not stand. He talked about promotion of rule of law. It has nothing to do with this sanction of these people. It does not. Now you are telling me that it's only these political parties that commit these heinous crimes, while the other parties are there. Their citizens are referees or umpires? No, you must be mistaken. On the other side, and of course, to straighten the points of my opposition leader, he mentioned what selective justice. If you talk about selective justice here, there are a particular group of people have been accused of a particular issue. You take 1 hour of them to go and prosecute an individual. It does not matter in this court. So in this House, what matters here, those who commit crimes should be dealt with according to the law of the land, but not the person who is in their chair, and of course the will of the nation, and of course you cannot come and prosecute an individual on a crime that he does not commit. That's what we call miscarriage of justice. In this manner, we have to learn. Honorable Speaker of the House, now he mentioned what? Establishment of a commission. You understand, Canada, they established a commission of inquiry and they are moving. Rwanda, commission of inquiry, they are moving. And they move Sierra Leone, those who were also witnessing what we call long sleep or short sleep, they came boldly enough. They reconciled, Those victims, we are what? Repatriated, sorry, we are giving reparations. End of the day, they are moving to the highest echelon of development. As we speak, we are going to institute what we call commission of inquiry, establish the truth, then we seek reconciliation, because of Gambians, we are one family, one nation. So in that manner, police is somebody. In fact, the council, the people, the courts, you are prosecuting your own individual family member. In that, under this law, the law in fact will not take due or into the fact that the relationship between you and the individual sometimes is case. Now moving on to my point. Here, individual responsibility rather than collective responsibility. Police will monitor those who are committing those violations of human rights, bring them to court rather than the head. That should be my first point. My second point would be what? Sanctioning these political parties amounts what? To denying them what we call their political participation as we speak. So sanctioning political parties, and I told you before this, if you sanction them, you prosecute the leaders, that's means you are killing the spirit of Gambians because of our political race. As we speak, it is very, very fine. Now, looking at our political race in the country, as we speak, everybody is being inspired because of the avenue given to them to participate. Their full political right is given to them, and we have to give them the chance to dance to their own tune, come up with issues that are very, very fundamental, where you and I would learn how to govern this country. Because politics is what we call free market of ideas, where you bring an idea, somebody brings, join together, we find what we call the developmental paradigms for our country. First, I start by devoting the business point brought here by the Prime Minister, and of course, he came here without defining the key terms, with reference rather, and of course, I move on strengthening the points of my benchmate who talk about selective justice and establishment of a commission of inquiry. On that note, these are my submissions, and I think we are happy to oppose as long as this is not something what's supposed to be done. Then we will have what we call miscarriage of justice. Thank you very much.
House, chief adjudicators, members of the House, the government bench and opposition bench, good evening to you all. In my capacity as the government member, I have the honor to give you the way in which I will be submitting my deliberation. To begin with, I am going to rebut on statements which I consider baseless by the opposition members. The opposition leaders stood in front of us here that it became selective justice to just punish who? The political leaders. Now, when you look at the structure of the political leaders, they are formed that comprise a group of people, and those that support that political party supported that party or the leaders of that political party because they believe that they have the spirit, they have the goal of achieving the objective. Therefore, being as a political leader, your key role is to ensure that you promote a better attitude into your own members. A typical example is who? Halifa Sallah. He made mentions that the POIS is not a political party that is meant to nurture hooligans. Whosoever go out to demonstrate, it means you are not part of the POIS. So also, the deputy opposition member stood in front of here, and he made mentions that it killed the spirit of young politicians. Yes, you said it killed the spirit of young politicians. Young politicians are people who are determined to take the responsibility of the nations. How will it be when they are nurtured in a very negative way, in which that negativity is what they are going to grow into? What will be the state of our country in the future when they move from young politician to that of an old politician, and they address that outfit of what and that poor leadership? Honorable Speaker of the House, I have the honor to first of all strengthen the point of the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister made mentions of what? That the reason why we believe that we should sanction them is because we want to promote peaceful political practice. Now, looking at the political system, we must ensure that leaders are held accountable. But if leaders are not held accountable, what is going to happen? We are going to live in a stateless whereby people will try to what? Survival of the fittest became the orders of the day. So therefore, if we try to sanction them, it's going to promote peaceful political practice. Also,
the Deputy Prime Minister stood in front of here and he made mention that we want to avoid recurrency of what history, that what has been repeated should not be repeated. Why are we learning history? We are learning history to know what has happened in order to bring a change, and that change can only be happened if we discipline the people. Honorable Speaker of the House, I have the honor to export my own marvelous point to you. One of the reasons why we believe that these people should be sanctioned is because we want to promote discipline. We want to promote discipline. Discipline is one of the key things that we should try to instill into our actors, people who are trying to take political position. Now, if we instill something positive in them, whenever they hold the position of leadership, that discipline will reign in them, and believe me, they are going to manifest something positive for our nation. Honorable Speaker of the House, my second point is to promote equality before the law. To promote equality before the law. It is stated that the law is supreme and tells above every individual in the state, not even a political party in the state. Therefore, if a political party is been sentenced on merit, violating the fundamental human right of people, that is what? Freedom of expression, freedom of association. I think it is high time we ensure that the law should deal with those particular people. Other than that, we are going to live in a state whereby the most competent people will become panic, and they will not be ready to take part in nation building. Honorable Speaker of the House, it is high time for me to make a summary of my debate. I stood here, and as I stand here, what I first did was to rebut on the statement which I consider as baseless, and by both the opposition member and the deputy opposition member, and I straight to the point of the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, and I exported my own marvelous point, which I believe went through your mind, that you will keep listening it will keep reminding your mind when you're at home, which I mentioned that for us to promote equality before the law, which I stated that political parties are not exceptional, therefore we must promote equality before the law. As the House is on fire, I have the honor to ask any individual with a POI, and I'm ready to answer without no questioning. Okay. Honorable Speaker of the House, adjudicators, and members of the House, like I said, I mentioned my point, that it promotes equality before the law, and I also mentioned that it promotes a discipline, that is, we must try to establish a system. The foundation must start among political parties. We must train our leaders, people who inspire to become leaders. We must train them at the inception for them to take the responsibility. Upon taking that responsibility, when they become leader, you will find out that those people will manifest to serve the interests of our beloved nations. On that note, I have the honor to rest my case, and I thank you very much for the government bench and opposition bench, and then the audience here. Permit me to outline the structure of my debate. First, I would report on the basis points that were brought forward by the government bench, and then strengthen the points that were stated here by my bench, and then move on to my own points and submit an alternate, and then summarize, or get POI if time permits, and then summarize. To begin with, I would like to answer the question that was raised by the Prime Minister. Why not prosecute head of political parties? Because he asked, why not prosecute heads of political party? I want to submit to this House, that is not the motion here. The motion of the House is, this House will sanction political parties with links to human rights violation. So you cannot fail to submit in your perimeter that this is not, we are not referring to the political parties. Since you failed to mention that, you cannot submit this debate to the head of political parties. That means you are not sure of what you're saying here. Moving on to his point, he talked about injustice. Mr. Speaker, what is more unjust? What is more disheartening than just prosecuting a head of a political party? In fact, it could be not the head that even orchestrated that crime. So why just selecting that person and then prosecuting him or her? Mr. Speaker, that point is ungenuine and should not be accepted in this House. If you talk about promote peaceful political participation, I don't understand how prosecuting a head of political party who might not have been engaged in that crime help to promote peaceful political. I think this will in fact discourage political participation.
participation, in fact. It will discourage it because people will tend to see, can you please allow me to educate the Prime Minister? You cannot, for example, you just prosecute the head of the political party. Some people will discourage because they will say, when I come, my party members could do this and I'll be held accountable. That should not be accepted. He said the right to freedom of association is not absolute. He said it is subjected to other laws. What laws he failed to mention to this house? Moving on to the Deputy Prime Minister. He cited Rwanda, which is in fact OT, that is, I'm a very weak English teacher, I will say out of topic. Please, can you please allow me, Deputy Prime Minister needs some education. He talked about cite Rwanda and then you failed to mention any source. Where you present, you failed to mention any source. So that should not be accepted here. He talked about promote responsibilities, responsible citizens and leadership. How can you, I don't do anything, you prosecute me. You say that promote responsible citizenship. Mr. Speaker, that should not be accepted here. Moving on now, the government member came here and talked about discipline. Discipline. What is more discipline by prosecuting the right people? What is more discipline? Here we are talking about prosecuting the heads of political who might not have done something. So that is in fact indiscipline. The equal on the face, you talk about equality on the face of the law. What is more equal than prosecuting the right person? Mr. Speaker, this should not be accepted here. Now to move on to my own points. First, it could equate dictatorship. Mr. Speaker, that's my first point. Okay, situation of dictatorship. When you have political parties being as party motion, when you have political parties being sanctioned, this would promote dictatorship. How? For example, Mr. Speaker, every political party, every member of the political party who does something, you prosecute the leader. Political parties will be discouraged and they will not come into politics. This will equate one party system, and then we know how it happened under the APRC regime. We have parties that were that happened to them, and then this contributed immensely to the dictatorial rule of the Gambia. Second, Mr. Speaker, it could cause chaos. Members of, if you prosecute a head of political party, members of the party could rise and say he does not commit the crime, and then why should you prosecute him? And this could create chaos. Then soon you will see hashtag releasing, hashtag this and that, and then you know could create what we don't want to see. As peace in this country now is something very valuable, and we should not compromise with it. Moving on, it's discourage political participation. Mr. Speaker, we all know how participation in politics is important. Because we said politics is about setting agenda. And then we believe the more good agendas you have, the more that the nation is bound to develop. And then when these head of political parties are discouraged, people are discouraged from political parties, we expect that we would not have significant political participation, and this would affect our development. And then, Mr. Speaker, may I submit now our alternate? Our alternate is to prosecute the perpetrators. How are you going to do this? Using the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission is funded by the government, so all this Gambia. So we're going to use them. They're going to investigate and then see the right perpetrators of those crimes and then prosecute them. If need be, seek for reconciliation. When there's no reconciliation, we can seek for prosecution. But we have to make this alternate clear, that is to prosecute perpetrators through the Human Rights Commission. So having done this, Mr. Speaker, I would like to summarize. I've reported their baseless and selfish points that were just based on leaders. This point, in fact, they are not genuine to be in this house. And then I also made my own point that is just that is chaotic or and discouraging political participation. And my alternate is prosecution of perpetrators and human rights through and using the Human Rights Commission. So on that note, I humbly rest my case.
House. I want to start by giving you the structure of my debate. I would best start by debunking the points that we are given by the opposition bench. Then I would further strengthen the points that are given by the government bench, and then I will summarize and of course conclude. Mr. Speaker of the House, I want to bring this to your attention that a POI was asked the opposition member,
and he refused to take it. That means, of course, there is a great misunderstanding that he did not understand what the topic is all about. Oh, he's trying to run away, that he is deviating from the point. Nevertheless, I will start by reporting the points that were given by the opposition. Mr. Speaker of the House, the first point that was given, the first point that was given by the opposition leader, this is in fact making me laugh, because what he said is that it's going to be selective justice to prosecute only the leaders and leave the party militants to be inside the party. Now, I think what he means to say is that he agrees that the party should be sanctioned, that the whole party should be sanctioned. It's not that sanctions should not, punishment should not be meted out. It should be meted out, but for him, it's not supposed to be only the leaders, so it should be everybody, which actually the Prime Minister made it categorically clear that you cannot put everybody in jail and you cannot bring everybody to prosecution. So you have to bring that person who is their representative leader, in which the opposition leader came here and, blatantly lied to us. Mr. Speaker of the House, he gave us an alternative. Now, the alternative that he gave is that the best alternative, he said they are going to, the political party, instead of punishing them, what they are going to do is that they are going to bring reconciliation, repatriation, and reintegration. Let me tell you something. Okay, let us give him the benefit of the doubt. Let us say that all this will work. But then, do you know that of course 95% of this does not work? How many people are forgiven? In fact, DRC is going on right now. How many people are forgiven? Okay, let us still say that, okay, that will work. How would you even bring up that repatriation? How would you even bring that reconciliation and reintegration? Where would you bring that financial money? That financial responsibility. You see, what the opposition leader is failing to do here is that to actually evaluate what the issue is all about. The opposition leader came here, the deputy opposition leader came here and blatantly refused to give us a point, substance here. The point that he gave was that, okay, it's going to be very irresponsible for us to bring the leaders to prosecution and forget about the minister. Just the same point that I just mentioned by the opposition leader. In fact, he did not mention anything tangible that we as the opposition, as the government bench, could actually put into context and come here and debate about. So forgetting about the opposition, the closing opposition, we are going to the opening opposition, we are going to the closing opposition. The member of the closing bench, the member of the opposition bench came here and said things that are really incomprehensible. We don't really understand your point. Now, what you came here, you said, in fact, let me even disqualify him by saying that he gave an alternative. In fact, he's saying that he does not agree with the alternative that was given by the opposition leader. You are not supposed to give an alternative. So when you give an alternative by saying that there is a human rights commission, that you are going to give the human rights commission that responsibility for them to prosecute the leaders, you are saying that you really dishonor and you really disagree with the by the alternative of reconciliation and reintegration that was given by the opposition leader. Mr. Speaker of the House, I think the opposition bench are totally out of the game. Mr. Speaker of the House, I want to go on to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister, I want to first start by strengthening the point that was given by the government member. I think all of us should go and kneel before them and pray and ask for prayer so that they will deliver it. The first thing that was done by the government member came and said that, you see, when you prosecute these people, what is it going to give? We need a vibrant leadership. We need the youth to learn from these leaders that are inside, that are managing the affairs of the citizens. So what are we going to do? When we prosecute them, when we punish them, we are going to send that sense of discipline. What are we doing? He said promotion of discipline. So you see how the promotion of discipline is very important when it comes to the youth, because all of us are learning from what we see. All of us are learning from what we hear. So these leaders, if they are representing us, and again, they are the leaders of the political party, they are violating human rights, and we do not sanction them. What are we doing? We are sending a message that it should be a trend from everybody that is coming on power. Another point that was given by the government member, he said that it's going to promote equality before the law. Now, it's going to show that, okay, every citizen is equal before the law. How did he even explain that? He said, now, political party leaders, when they come and express, when they come before the law and they are judged, people will understand that, okay, I am equal with that person who is being judged and he is the political leader. Why? Because when you steal, you are taken before the court. When you kill someone, you are taken before the court. Why would political party leaders kill and then you don't take them before the court? That is the promotion of equality that he was trying to explain. The other point that he was trying to explain is that it's going to promote good leadership. Apart from discipline, apart from equality before the law, it's going to promote what we call good leadership. So we need good leaders. We need vibrant leaders. For us to set the record of people not coming coming and repeating the same mistake, we need to put an end to it. So that is cutting the cancer. We are going to do that, the government is going to do that. Now, just to start it to one point that was made by the opposition, the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister, they came here and talked about a very important thing. They said that it's going to promote peaceful political practice. If we prosecute these people, punish them, in fact, it's going to promote what we call peaceful political practice. Everything will be peaceful, knowing that if you go against the law, you are going to be brought to the court of law, and then you will be prosecuted, and then if you are found guilty, taken to the court. And another one that was given was that it's going to promote what we call good governance. In fact, when we talk about democracy, what are you talking about? We are talking about good governance. So in the actual concept of good governance, I think the Prime Minister, the Deputy Prime Minister, did a very wonderful job. Later after this, go to them and kneel before them, and then they will pray for everyone. Mr. Speaker of the House, having rebutted some of the baseless points that were given by the opposition bench, having also pointed out the fact that the bench is totally out of the game, and also strengthened some of the points that were given by the government bench, and I promoted the government members' point, which was promotion of discipline, promotion of equality before the law, and also promotion of good leadership. We also strengthened some of the points that were given by the Prime Minister and the Deputy Prime Minister. He came here and talked about good governance. It's going to promote good governance, and it's also going to promote what we call peaceful political participation. In fact, in this kind of atmosphere where chaos is prevalent, this is what we need. We need our leaders to be accountable. We need our leaders to be accounted, and we need our leaders to be responsive and responsible. That is why we are bringing them before the court of law, and they will be prosecuted. If they are found guilty, they will be taken to jail, and then they will be locked up. They deserve it. Thank you very much.
Panel of adjudicators, members of the government bench, members of the opposition bench, I say a wonderful good evening to you all. Before I proceed in a momentary introduction, in my capacity as the opposition whip, first of all, I would like to lay down the structure of my debate. I will start with a summary rebuttals of the fallacious assertions being brought forward by the government bench, setting the points given by my opposition bench, summarize and conclude if time permits me. First of all, panel of adjudicators, I need to bring this to your attention that the government bench totally missed the line of the debate. The topic in this house is, this house will sanction political parties with links to human rights violations. So if you come and stand on the podium asking us that this house will prosecute political leaders, that means you are totally changing the topic of discussion in this house. Your role is, should we sanction political parties or we shouldn't? Why should we prosecute political leaders? You fail and miss the point, you miss the line of the debate. So all your arguments are baseless. So I move on, panel of adjudicators. He asked a question that is it justice and legal for political leaders to be prosecuted? What we are saying here is the topic of discussion. We've never seen in any word from the motion talking about political leaders. All we see is political parties should be sanctioned. So if you're asking a question that relates to political leaders, we have no answer for your question because it doesn't have any relation with the topic of discussion in this house. I move up to the Deputy Prime Minister. The Deputy Prime Minister also come here and told us that if we sanction political leaders, it is going to discourage reoccurrence of that human rights violation happening. Now, come to think of this. If we prosecute political leaders who didn't do anything, don't you think that citizens who want to commit crimes might come and hide under a political party and commit crimes they want to commit? Because at the end of the day, they will know that political leaders are the ones who are supposed to be prosecuted and not them who committed the crime. So I don't know where you took your point from. So coming opposition. I tell you, you take this formula, I take this formula, at the end of the day, we all reach in one place because we want to solve the same problem. If they come up with their alternative, and we come up with our alternative, you didn't hear us say we are discouraging their alternative. No, 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 because we use different formulas to solve the same problem. It is not written anywhere that people should use the same approach to solve a problem. So if they have their alternative and we have our alternative, it doesn't necessarily mean that we are discouraging their alternative. So, Mr. Speaker, I move on in strengthening the points brought forward by the opposition member. The opposition member talked about dictatorship. Yes, if parties are sanctioned, as they miss the line of the debate, I'm not talking about political leaders. If parties are sanctioned, we know that the incumbent, the president, will never provide an avenue where his own party will be sanctioned. Parties that are minorities are the ones who are going to face this. And now if they are sanctioned, that will lead to dictatorship because we might have one party. And every election, we have them go to the polls, we vote for them because the other parties have been marginalized. That shouldn't be the case because it is going to promote dictatorship. Now his second point is chaos. Yes, if you place sanctions on political parties, and members of those parties know that we don't commit these crimes collectively, why are they sanctioning the political parties? It will raise chaos because if I did commit any crime, I wouldn't allow them to sanction my party baselessly. So I move on to his start where he said discourage of political participation. Yes, if my party is sanctioned because some of my party members misbehave, that alone will discourage me to participate in politics because I know any crime that my members do will be used against me. So I wouldn't participate. He come up with an alternative that is very important. Being it a political party leader, being it a member, he said the people who committed the crime, the perpetrators, should be prosecuted. This is the right alternative because you cannot select political parties alone for you to prosecute them. We are saying the people in question, being it a member, being it the political leader, if they are the one into this crime, let them be prosecuted. And next time you know you have to pay for the crimes you've done, not other people suffering because of you. That is his alternative. So, panel of adjudicators, I will remind this House, first of all, I have reported the baseless points. As they've missed the line of the debate, I'll put it to your attention that wasn't the motion in this House. The motion in this House was sanctions of political parties, not prosecution of political leaders. So that is, I corrected that. And I strengthened the points mentioned by my opposition leader, that is dictatorship, chaos, discouragement of political participation. Aside of that, I thank you all for listening.
We thank the last speaker, who is the opposition whip for that speech. That ends this debate. We allow the judges to take their leave and go and discuss the results. We give you 10 minutes because it's getting late, so we have to end this. I know it's a difficult task, but
as Kemo mentioned before, we focus on 4 key points. They are the content, matter, confidence, and your engagement with the audience. So you can see it is, we have 3 indicators. It means our decision most likely will be, I can even say certainly will be, that of impartial. So after we did we compiled everything, well, based on what has been presented before us here, we have the following results. The third public speaker, or should I say the one on the third, the one who took part in this competition is Nefatu Ni. Yes, Nefatu Ni scooped the third position. Mustafa, are we giving her any? Yes. Alright, can we have someone come forward to do the presentation for us? Congratulations to their family.
Where is it? Wait. She was taking pictures. It's now her turn to.
Oh, she was the photographer. Alright. Right. Congratulations to the family. And moving on to the second position. The one who stood to the second position for the public speaking category of the Banjul Open National Debate Championship is Sabali Ibrahim. Congratulations, Ibrahim.
Which of the trophies?
Anyone. I think this one is for the bigger one.
Big one is for the bigger.
Just decide.
Bravo also made an award. Congratulations, Bravo, for winning that award. And now to the one who is going home with the coveted prize.
Yes. You beat us.
Can you guess who the winner is? Well, we'll find out in the software. You'll be surprised. Can you guess again who the winner is? Why? Oh, the only thing I'm hearing is you guys are more giving me substantial argument. Okay, the best public speaker for the Banjul Open National Debate Championship 2020 is no other person but Usman Jassi. It is evident from the crowd that you deserve it, and you need to with professionalism. It is just a stepping stone as well, and it's really on that note, I would like to pass the mic to my colleague, Kimo Content, to also give us the results of the debate tournament. Thank you so much.
Good evening. All right, now we turn into a debate section of the competition today. It's all about the Banjul Open Debate Championship. And then, as I am reminded right now, we are going to begin with the best speaker of the competition. And there we will pave our way to the fourth position, third, second, and first. Now, we, the adjudicators, have taken a painstaking activity, that is to scrutinize every word uttered, every point sounded, and of course, we unanimously agree to come up with the following rank of positions that are met as far as the competition is concerned. To begin with, I'm going to start with the best speaker of the competition, which is the debating section. I don't know if that individual is in the hall, but let me guess the name first. Who do you think she is? All right, since we have only one lady in our midst, the best speaker of the competition is Aminata Sonko.
Join me on stage.
Don't confuse me. You need food. Second. No, this is third. Second. So you don't have you do? No.
All right. Are we done with the photographs? No, let me mention it. Since it is debating,
so you just announce the winner.
Yeah. Only the winner.
Yes.
For the debate.
Yes. We do not know that's for the other one.
So let me have the organizer
boy Badibunga Gambian Talents TV Solemu